I'm trying to understand more about enterprise analysis. And I think there's someone in town who can help me out. How can enterprise analysis help us understand and define the needs of an organization? And where do BAs play a pivotal part in this journey? I think I know someone who can help answer these questions. My guest today is a speaker, educator, and a leader, and he knows a lot about enterprise analysis. But before we get started, remember to like, subscribe, and comment below. Oh, and my guest today, he lives on the other side of Canada. So let's go say hi. I think I came to the right place to talk to someone about enterprise analysis. I came here actually to talk to this guy, Vincent Mirabelli, because I don't know a lot about enterprise analysis, and he does. He's the guy, he's the king. So that was one reason for me to drive all the way from Calgary to Aurora to have a chit-chat with Vince. Man, it took 3 days to get here.
I hope that this is worth the 3-day drive and the 3-day haul back.
This is it. All right. Before we even get into questions, a lot of you guys might know Vince, Vince's YouTube channel, because he does a number of episodes. So it's Analysts After Work, Business Not As Usual, and That's Vince. You got 3 of them, right?
Yes.
And you also are one of the co-founders of the Uncommon League.
Yes, I haven't done a lot of work with them lately, but yes, I was part of the original founding of the Uncommon League with Jennifer Batten, Hans Ekman, Paul Crosby, and the late and still great Bob Prentice. Bob the BA.
You're really into continuous improvement for people, process, and technology.
Yes.
This is your thing.
Yes.
And it's all about empowering leaders and organizations.
Yes.
This is the big thing. So with that said, I also want to mention you've got a number of LinkedIn learning courses as well.
Yes, I've got 7 that have been published. Many in the topic of enterprise analysis, strategic analysis, tools courses. I've just recorded my latest 2. Okay. It looks at the topics of ESG, environmental, social, and governance for BAs. Right. So how do BAs operate within an ESG organization? How do they support ESG initiatives? And then the other one, because it's the hottest topic right now, is AI, generative AI for BAs.
Now, I know, looking back, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, 2-3 years ago you had like 1 course, or something like that.
2 years ago I had 0.
0, okay, so now you've got 6. So in 2 years you got 6 courses?
7, plus the 2 that are coming out this year.
So you're doing almost 3 courses a year?
I'm a voracious instructor.
Awesome. But I've also noticed on your website you've got a number of courses too.
Yes.
That one pre-recorded, or are they live?
Pre-recorded. Okay. So there's the essentials of enterprise analysis. There's a Lean Six Sigma yellow belt, because in addition to being a BA, I'm a Lean Six Sigma master black belt. That's how we get the continuous improvement. I officially launched a new program that I've just put together called the Next Gen BA. So it's taking a lot of the topics that I speak on: culture, politics, enterprise strategy, ESG, AI, and putting together a learning package for folks to get ready for the next generation. So, I'm going to assume it's aimed at mid and senior level BAs. I'm going to assume coming in, you know how to facilitate, you know how to elicit, you know how to manage stakeholders, you know how to do all that stuff. This gets you ready for what's next.
We as BAs, we're there to help organizations add value. That's the first and foremost, right? But we want to be able to do it without negatively impacting upstream, downstream, midstream.
Yes.
How can we do that? Any suggestions?
Yeah. So, and this is where this idea of strategic analysis comes in. Is actually recognizing the impacts up and downstream. The analogy that I like to use is like, those balloons that clowns use?
Right.
When they make balloon animals, the really long, thin ones?
Right.
When you squeeze the middle, what happens to the air?
It goes out.
It goes elsewhere, right?
Right.
So you haven't removed the air.
Right.
You've just transferred the air elsewhere.
Okay.
A lot of times what projects do, and as BAs, we need to take that holistic view, because what projects do is they solve a problem here, and in doing so create problems upstream and downstream.
Okay.
As business analysts, we are responsible for doing that analysis to recognize, okay, if we do this, what happens upstream, what happens downstream? A lot of folks don't do that because we're so laser focused on the work that we're doing,
Or we're in a silo,
or we're in a. I mean, yes, or we're in a silo, right? Or we're doing what we think is right, but we don't take that step back to look at, okay, if I make a change here, what is the impact 2 steps away? It's almost like a lot of people, when they think of strategic analysis or strategy, they think of chess, right? You've got to think 2 moves, 3 moves, 4 moves ahead. I'm still learning how to play chess. The analogy I like much more is Risk. Remember the board game Risk?
I know. Yep.
Because it's not just about, in chess, 1 player versus 1 player with a predefined set of moves.
Okay.
In Risk, there's multiple players, there's multiple regions, multiple countries. Some are strategically advantageous, like Australia. Everybody knows that. It's easiest to defend. But you're also at the whims of the dice. Right? So it's not just about trying to anticipate what the other person's doing. It's actually, sometimes it's up to the randomness of the universe. So
Chance. Happenstance.
Chance, chaos. Right? So what we need to do, and we're not going to be right all the time, but what we need to do is take that step back and say, okay, if we make a change here, how does it affect the input, and how does it affect the output?
Okay.
So it's really looking at the entire value stream.
Okay. That I think is something that every BA should know.
1,000%.
Yes.
Yes. Because otherwise we're not. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Otherwise, we're not actually creating value.
Okay.
We're creating value by. It almost becomes like a zero-sum game.
Right.
I'm creating value by reducing value elsewhere.
Right.
The point of continuous improvement and of maximizing value is to actually solve a problem without creating new problems.
Right. You mentioned value streams. I was going to ask you as
Yes.
well. How can BAs proactively learn about value streams in a business?
So, I mean, the best way to look at it, I mean, understanding business architecture, business capabilities is a great way, because to me, the best business architects build to value streams. So it's not just capabilities on a sheet. It's illustrating the value stream and the way that the organization creates value. You can break that down further and say, okay, here's a capability map of a department, and here's how the department creates value. But just envisioning how the pieces of the puzzle fit together. Again, taking that broader view. The way that I like to describe enterprise strategic business analysis or business analysts is like an eagle.
Okay.
Folks in the U.S. love this analogy because
The American eagle.
we love the eagle, right?
Yeah.
They love the eagle. So think about what an eagle does. So an eagle soars high in the sky, surveys the entire landscape, sees everything, understands everything that the eagle sees, the eagle owns.
Right.
But when it needs to, it can dive down. Right? Swoop down, catch the prey, solve a problem, and then go back up. Right? We need to zoom out, see it, identify where we can add value through our work. Zoom in, do what we need to do, zoom back out. Right? Because we're gonna make changes to how the organization creates value.
Now here's the big thing. You enter an organization, usually, this is my case, maybe your case is different, I've usually been thrown into a project.
Yes.
You very seldom start a project at the beginning. So if you're thrown into a project, you're trying to understand these value streams, you can't just sit down with someone and say, hey, explain to me those value streams.
Yeah.
You've got to kind of figure out for yourself. Is there a method to go about doing this?
Document analysis, I want to read what exists that
So
informed the decision and the project, right? Status reports, project plans, BA plans, business cases, that sort of thing. So I want to understand, I want to get context. Context is key. The second thing I want to do is talk to people. right? So I'm going to engage with stakeholders, and I don't mean just stakeholders on the project. I mean stakeholders on the project team to understand. So as much as like I'll present the ideal, no, it'll be great at the beginning, and I can influence the decisions that are being made. I've been dropped on projects as well, where you get in, you say, wait a second, hold on, everyone. If we do this, this is going to be this is the next step, and this is what's going to happen. We're not actually solving the problem. The challenge then is the project team is so far down the road, it's too late. And at that point, it's not about value creation or value maximization. It's more about just value salvage. Like, how do we make this dumpster fire the best possible dumpster fire that it can be? So, but I have found that actually has given me more credibility with leaders when you call out, okay, this is what I'm seeing, here's how I see it playing out. When it does play out that way, that was actually how I was able to engage in more strategic analysis, because I had leaders coming to me asking, how did you know that was going to happen? I looked at the broad thing. I recognized the pattern. It was inevitable. And so that actually gave me a little bit of credibility and leeway to play, to earn a seat at the decision-making table, not as a voting contributor, not but at least as an advisor to the people that were making decisions, doing more strategic stuff. So,
have you ever had a leader ask you, what is enterprise analysis? And why do UBAs even have to know about that?
I've not, because ultimately they don't care.
Okay.
I've had a leader ask me, what is the best way that I can add value? And so when I describe to them, piecing those pieces together at the strategic level, they would look at it as, well, that's my job.
Okay. All right.
And I disagree.
Okay.
A leader's job is to empower and enable their staff and their team to keep them safe.
Okay.
But a leader, particularly in like an operating area, they're focused on their silo, on their line of business.
Okay.
What enterprise analysis does is it doesn't look at silos, it looks at the whole.
Okay.
So it doesn't look at what's best for operations, or what's best for IT, or what's best for finance. It looks at what's best for the umbrella, the whole. Agnostic and objective.
I like that.
It's like, I'll often say, like, I don't care. I don't care what the solution is. And it's not that I don't care, it's that I don't own the solution. My responsibility is to present the objective analysis and what do you think we should do, right? That's what we do. I want to thank you for making the trek all the way from Calgary. I appreciate it, and I just, if anyone wants to get in touch, they can find me.
Good.
So
now I got to pack up and drive all the way back to Calgary. It's another 3 days.
Yeah, 3 days here, 3 days back.
Yeah, 6 days
for a 30-minute interview.
Yeah,
like that's.
Well, when you're a well-known BA like Vince, you got to get in touch with the guy.
I'm okay.
He's okay.
I'm okay.
Actually, the real truth is, I wanted to come to Starbucks here, and I just happened to see him. That's what happened.
Just some random guy. He's like, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Vince.
Thank you very much.
That's been great. Yeah, thank you once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome, cool. And thanks for the tea, too.
You made the drive. It didn't seem fair to make you pay for coffee.
I've learned 3 takeaways from this interview with Vincent Mirabelli. 1, we VAs need to know how to create meaningful value. That is, we need to maximize value by not creating new problems. 2, we need to learn about value streams by engaging more with stakeholders. We have to be a part of the key decision-making team that influences business objectives and outcomes. And 3rd, we need to know what is best for the organization as a whole through an objective analysis lens. This was part 1 of the interview with Vincent Mirabelli. Join me for part 2 coming up where Vincent provides a deeper dive into enterprise analysis. Until then, have a great day. And remember, business analysis is everywhere. Be a BA, be awesome. Oh, one last thing before you go. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment below. As well, take a look at this video about business analysis in Mexico, and this video recommended by YouTube. Until then, have a great day. We'll see you next time.